Alright, boys and girls, this is the 9th. This is Monday, the 9th of April. We have a birthday on tomorrow. It's my son's birthday. My favorite son. I only have one. That's Jeremiah Levant. And he has a birthday on tomorrow. So I'm trying to think, what could we do for Jeremiah? What could we do for him? Can we take him somewhere? He's gonna be, I think I said 13, but I think it's 12 or 13. He's 12. I think he's 12. Angel's 10, and Kiara's 14, and Kiana is turning 16 in July. Amen. I'm sitting up in here and I'm looking at Tyler Perry's. He's been working on the missing black guy and the missing Hispanic guy. What are my views? If you have Tyler Perry, you want to look into Tyler Perry's wall and look at some of the things he's been doing. And one of the things, his new assignment, besides putting out plays and movies, being a comedian that he is. Amen. He's trying to help find a missing Hispanic and a missing black guy that came up missing through the police department. He was a sheriff. He was a veteran. I didn't know that they had fired the veteran police officer already, or sheriff officer already. I was looking at the video, and they fired him. So he's no longer on staff because he lied. He told so many stories on what happened to the black. Well, actually, the Hispanic guy was first. Actually, looked like Mexican. He looked like an Indian. He was taken first, and he was in a minor accident, and his brother was at the scene. And he was placed in the back of the police sheriff department car and was never seen again. A week later, a black guy, he called in and he reported a black guy, the car actually, and said that there was no one in the car. But then he was found later running the license plate or the information. So they wanted to know, why is it that he had his information when there was no one in the car, right? Yeah. So we're here to wondering, I guess we're trying to find out where are they. So you may want to tap on Tyler Perry or go into Tyler Perry's and get some pictures if you know of the whereabouts of these two young men. And because of all the lies, we don't want to say that they're dead, right? It's been, I think, 10 years ago. I guess they want to see him do time and not just fired, right? And we know, y'all, come on, let's talk about the police system. Can we talk about that? And this is based on Tyler Perry's report. From my understanding, and we may have to do a field trip. Y'all. Police officers not placed in regular jail. I was told that years ago when I was military, or when my ex-husband was military. They don't place them in regular jail. We had this police officer who shot and killed his pregnant wife. No one knows why, and he was not placed in the regular facilities. Yeah, one of the police officers told us that. At the time, we were having company, entertaining, and we was discussing what had happened, and they did tell us that they did not go to a regular jail. They could not put them for the fear of their life. I don't know. At the time, I said, do they separate gang members? And I was told that police officers try to keep the peace as much as possible, even behind bars. That's what I was told. But we see a lot of rape and molestation and forced homosexuality. We hear about it after they get out of pen. You have family members that had to fight to keep their virginity, homosexual-wise. And so we really wonder if they're really being protected like police officers. But I want to assume that the fight now is to have this guy persecuted or prosecuted for his deed. They checked his car. They say his car was immaculate, which meant they found no traces of blood. But this is government. Do you really believe that the government is going to say, yeah, he did it, now let's pay the family all this money, right? They're black and Hispanic. We have to face the fact that racism is going on. The deputy was a Caucasian man, and he sounded like he was real country. We know that there's a lot of, as we call, white supremacists trying to regain control also. They want to hold up the name For years, as I stated earlier, many of blacks and Hispanics are still running from Caucasian when we have been out of war for years. And I think we all have a touch of racism, which is not good. I had this Caucasian guy say, Nate, I don't. And I thank God for him because, to me, he's purer than I am. He said, I don't. I mean, I love blacks. I love Hispanic. I mean, he said he loved black women. That's what he loved the most. And I had my little conversation with him. He loves black women. I need some prayer in areas because there was a time, y'all, I wouldn't date anything but blacks. But I had no problem with befriending whites, Hispanic. I'll talk to anyone. And I'll love anyone. But I have my limits. I had my limits on how far I would go with them until the Lord opened me up to Caucasians. And even at that, my mind was only for Caucasian. And then he opened it up a little bit more toward certain Hispanics and certain Chinese folks. But I wouldn't date outside the blacks. And then even yet, I hadn't dated any other race except for black. But I believe in my heart that once I've experienced it, it will really bring me out of a lot. I didn't see it as racism. It was just my preference. But when you knock something before you even try it, that means there's something wrong with you. I really believe that. And so I had my issue. Even now, y'all, I had a conversation just a minute ago with an FBI agent. And I don't know what, I think it's not so much as their other race, the fact that you know what's going on or you feel like you know what's going on and that affects you. We heard that Governor Perry was fighting the Mexicana war. And that's what was going on in America right now. The Mexico people were fighting and they were kicking blacks off the system, right? Now, I could be totally wrong about a lot of stuff, but that's what I was told. So I called down to the food stamp office because, for years now, they've been, as y'all know, they've been playing with my food stamps. I've been really reporting it, and it's still part of benefits. When you look at it, we all get government assistance. So it's really nothing to be ashamed of, but they tend to look down more on those that are getting food stamps and a welfare check. And yet we have student aid down there. We have the military families getting their little discounted, which is still government funds. And I guess it's the reason behind why they're getting it that makes it, it's not like a handout to them, right? But it really is a handout. They're getting it free. So it's a handout. But I guess you look at it, they're trying to do something for themselves, other than a parent who's trying to raise her child. Her mind is where we're going to get off. But nevertheless, they're looked down upon, those who are on food stamp or AFDC. So a lot of time I call in, I have to tell my entire testimony, which can get tiring to listen to, and how I was working with USAA, and how I had my own, and I lived here, and this and that, and I started going through this, and this happened, and that happened, and, I've been here, there. In order to get people to really respect you enough to hear your conversation, right? Because immediately when they hear food stamp, they want to turn off like the little white girl did when I called FBI. Well, I was told by the food stamp office, after reading my case, I spoke with several ones, and they're afraid. I don't know what's in the comment. I didn't know. And I said, Lord, something is in the comment, because they would get afraid, and they would back off. And so I had one black girl, after it was notated, and she told me it was notated, that they said, don't give her anything until she go to work. Now, I'm the only one of everybody in America. Everybody else is getting food stamps and they're not working. But I was told in my comments, don't give her anything until she goes to work. That's what the comments on there. And I'm sitting around here and I'm looking at all these other people that say, okay. So I said, okay, what else is on here? Well, the black girl today, the other black girl, she saw the comments. She said, whatever. She gave me stamps, but she didn't give me all of them. And in fact, they were less than what I got, paying more than what I used to pay, right? And so I've been calling them, trying to get that straight. I had a Hispanic lady the other day answer, and she was kind of scared. And, she was a manager. She was going to do what's right, this and that, the other. And then they have a tendency, when you call into the regular box, they transfer you to a number that's already in your notations. Why you want to speak to that person, okay? Because you already know that person was told what to do, right? So I said, I don't want to speak to them. I want to speak to someone else. And you know what? She told me what she says is state, and no one ever answers, right? So I contacted the FBI because the girl today, the black girl, she told me. She read every notation on my account, and I sat there and listened. And they said she's under investigation with FBI. That's why my food stamps are being held. I said, ma'am, that has nothing to do with holding food stamps, and I'm not under investigation. So I called FBI. FBI Caucasian females laugh. We don't discuss information. Yeah, whatever. We know you discuss it, but you have to be bribed, right? You'll discuss it with the right people. So she kind of chuckled like she was doing something smart. So I kind of like, you know what? Whatever, because they're still workers and they're illegal. And so I got off the phone and I had a little hard feeling because she was a white girl. And I already know what they said, that the white folks are trying to make sure that when Obama gets out and Perry gets out, that they reverse the lawsuit. And that kind of affected me, because I'm like, okay,